Right. So in your journeys on that in the book, as I recall, you met Nuri West.
Yes.
Did you meet Nuri West when he was cutting hair at his shop? Did
Yes.
you go in his shop and say, hey, brother, I'm named Carlos Payne, and you want to be in my book? Was he in the early books, or he was in
the early book?
He was in the early book.
Okay, he was in there when his shop was called Wahl Styles, and he was in there with another shop, but it was Wahl Styles, and he was one of my biggest clients. You know, he had a lot of guys working for him, a lot of barbers. You know, some of the top barbers across the city, they came from out of his shop.
Right. So then you working for Nuri, and when did he tell you he wanted to do this thing called Major League Barber, and why did you link up with him? With Solid Gold, with your book? What made you link up with him? Out of all the people in Philadelphia, what made you link up with Nuri with the book in Major League Barber?
Well, what happened was we was going to Bronner Brothers hair show, and I guess Nuri and his brother seen something in that, and then that's when they said we can do our own product, and they start moving, and then we came together with me, and we took it from there.
Right.
You know.
So you took it from there. Then that's when you took it with Nuri from there. That's when you came up with your first barber book. Only then, after doing the Bronner Brothers show, did you come back home and say we just need to do a book for barbers?
No. When I was always doing barbers.
Okay.
That's when I split the books in two parts because the barber was getting too big. Like both books together was getting too fat, and the distributors didn't want to carry it because it's too heavy. It would the ship and everything cost more than what the book costs almost. Mm-hmm. So I separated the books. Everything went smoother.
So at the time you was running around when Major League Barber, and you was going to Bronner Brothers hair show. You already had the book going on with you.
Right.
So as you seen at that time, you seen the barber industry start to get more growth.
Right.
With y'all going around.
Right.
So what made y'all to stay going to Bronner Brothers? What made y'all to go to other shows? Did you want to go, or he wanted to go? Y'all was going together?
No, Nuri start branching out, and he started doing IBS, Premiere, and that's how that Major League branched out. You know, because I would go, but I still was just taking pictures and selling the book. You know, and doing the book and the posters.
Right. So while you was doing that, so I'm sure you was taking pictures of barbers everywhere you went at.
Everywhere.
Right, you went at. So in the early days of taking pictures, was barbers receptive of letting you take their picture of them, or was they like, I don't want you to take the picture, or was it
no,
like,
they
like I was putting in the book? Because you was, I'm sure, the only one out there, right?
Right, they were receptive. They would jump over another barber to get to me to say, put me in the book. They want to be in there, but you can't hit it. You can't shoot everybody. It would take me a whole year to shoot the barbers just to make the book. Right. Sometimes a year and a half.
So as y'all travel around, when did you see, from the Solid Gold perspective, when you started seeing the Caucasians or Latino barbers come in the book?
We did I first went to Puerto Rico, the San Juan show, and when I went there, I seen some cuts. I was like, whoa. And their fades and everything was nice. And they actually, some of them was using a razor, you know, like a broken razor, and they was blending and it was like amazing, you know. And at the San Juan Beauty Show, it was like the biggest barber competition I've ever seen. It was so many of them. It was so big. They even had prisoners coming in the barber competition, but the orange jumpsuits on. What's they just do the competition? That's how big this competition was. And then after that, it just took it to a whole new level because the Spanish just they did it large. That's all I got to say.
So you think your book influenced that? Did they know about your book when you went over there, or they just seen your book and wanted to be in the book?
They seen the book and wanted to be in the book because they was just there, you know, at the San Juan, so they didn't know about, you know. So once they seen they all wanted to be in there because their people's in New York, their people's in California, and their book was going everywhere. So everybody wanted to get in the book for, to show their work.
Right. So I remember Solid Gold was definitely was the book.
Right.
If you was a barber, you had to be in the book.
Right.
And your cuts had to be par for the book, tight for the book to get.
Because the barbers will talk about you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, barbers do talk. So back to the book. Book came out every year.
Yeah, maybe like a year and months. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna just come out and say every year, because there's gonna be a lot of barbers gonna say differently.
Okay, so you rolling around with Nuri, Major League Barber, went to Puerto Rico. Now the Latinos are in the book. Did any barber companies, what you didn't want to do nothing with the barber company? Did they sponsor the book? Or
no. I did things with barber company. Like they would do advertisement in the book, like Andis, Walls, that type of thing.
Okay. And that was it. They really didn't have nothing, because it was still new to them.
It was still new. That's when the barber thing was just starting to. All these other companies, all this barber, that they weren't out yet. Right. It was just Andis, Wahl, and Osters. Right. But after the patent broke, now everybody got a clipper. Right. There's more clippers out here than we got clippers. There's what they call them. There's car engines in them. Right.
So now you wanted. Reason why I always wanted to do the interview with Carlos from National Solid Gold, because he was the man behind the photographs from the Solid Gold magazine. Right. So you've seen the evolution of the barbering style.
Right.
So in saying that, do you still say that today, as you go around, Solid Gold is still doing posters going around, did the style change from the Philadelphia era? Or that's still everybody's cutting like the Philadelphia style, or is it a new style?
It's more newer, and is more it's not like when they first started. Guys was into their cuts, and it was like a haircut. It wasn't like when a lot of people, I would take photographs of them, and they say, make sure you get this side. But back then, whatever side you shot, it was okay, because they had the same amount of strength on each side, because they was into cutting. Now with all the enhancements came out and all the whistling, it's like a lot of barbers turn to artists. Turn into art. They start drawing the marks around the head and all that. So when they mess up, they just pencil it in. So I'm like looking, you know what I mean? So the cuts one is like, when I used to first see cuts, it was like, woo, that's tight. But now you look at it and say, okay. You getting it's still a few barbers out here that's tight. I'm not saying they not. There's a lot that's still tight, but it's like, it's not the same amount of work that they put into it. It's not, is everybody want to be a celebrity barber, not just a barber. You know what I mean? Like they're not into the craft. Like some places you go to, they a barber, but I'm a rapper too. I'm a sale. They doing other stuff. You know what I mean? But back, you was a barber. Hey, I'm a barber. Right. And they cut. Right. You know what I mean?